Hello everyone, we're back for another edition of my vlog. So we're in lockdown. We have gone into another lockdown. So that's a huge shift for our nation and for us as individuals. And not only that, what's obviously being broadcasted a lot in the media is what's going on in America and the elections. So that's just a couple of things. There's obviously plenty else going on in the rest of the world. But in the Western world, I guess, and for where I am currently, that's kind of the big issues, the big external issues, things that are outside of us. And I guess I want to spend time today thinking about what's going on inside of us. How are all these movements around us making us feel as individuals internally? And I don't mean that from a place of the mind, as in what logically comes to mind when you're thinking about these events or other large events in the world right now. I want to be a lot more broader when I'm talking about the internal feelings and how do you right now in this moment feel, and what part of your body is feeling that right now. And with that comes a breath. Hopefully you took a moment there just to feel into your body at this point in time. I think it's an important practice to do. I'm learning that a lot more these days. This resource that we have where we can drop into ourselves and really connect with the internal environment. And it is a practice. It's not an easy way of being. And I think that's down to how we've been conditioned in being. And that conditioning tends to be very outward facing, very much about what's going on in your immediate environment, and then through the news, what's going on in the rest of the world. And that's obviously just a fraction, and it comes with its own biases. And when you've grown up with this constant barrage of information and activities that happen on an external level, where in that upbringing and where in this experience that we're having right now is someone talking about being from an internal place, being from a place that can't be touched by anyone else, allowing yourself that space to experience your present situation, but from an inward place. And I'm talking from my own angle here. Maybe whoever's watching has had influences in their life or people in their life where they've learnt to hone this skill. But I can only speak from my own, and I have to say it's been very, if I think about the times that I've tried to drop into myself, it was probably when I used to go to the Gurdwara. So being born into a Sikh family that don't necessarily practice, but my parents were keen, as I was a child, to take me to our place of worship. And that was probably my first experience of not having so much around me going on, and the focus being something that's much bigger than any one of us can understand. And participating in hymns and in prayer and contemplating something that seems quite abstract, that was probably my first experience. And it was probably only at those moments in my life that I would give this kind of inward focus. And then that kind of petered out of life, and nothing has really replaced it over the years. And obviously life continues and pressures continue. And over the last couple of years, which I've been meaning to talk about, and I think I will bring to a vlogging session someday soon, over the last couple of years, I've started to learn about the importance of going inward, of taking away your, or what you perceive to be important things in your life, important external activities in your life. And I've started to really explore who I am, but I can't do that with this, all these things that are around me or were around me at that time. And I'm talking about the moment when I decided that the job was one of the biggest aspects for me that seemed to really define me as a person, because it took up so much of my life. And it was when I put it down that those expectations and external factors started to quieten, and then there was more room and more space. And from that space came wanting to go, with some resistance, as always with these things, wanting to go more inward, wanting to explore who I am and my being from an internal place. But like I said, that takes practice. It also takes courage. Because that place is just, it's so untouched, and it's the unknowing, isn't it? I think that's probably still not a word that will describe what I'm trying to say here, but it is just this place of the unknown. And it's in the present moment, how we talk about the unknown, and what will life look like in 6 months' time after we've been through COVID and after the elections have taken place in the US. I mean, those are future unknowns, but being with yourself and your inner landscape, that's an unknown, just like that. If you want to go there, you can go there right now, but it does represent what I've just kind of described in the outward world. It's a place where there's uncertainty, and there's fear with uncertainty. When you don't have control over something, there feels like there's this fear. And if I tap into that, what does that then mean? If I manage to drop into myself, what will I find there? And what if what I find there I don't like? I'm not sure if anyone else is resonating with this, but these are thoughts that I've had, or feelings that I've had, and the resistance that I've had to I really want to take myself to that place that I'm talking about. But in saying all of that and having practiced a bit of meditation and spending time on my own, I have noticed that with that investment in time of going inward, shifts have happened. Changes in my approach to life have happened. I mean, I wouldn't be doing this right now as an example. I wouldn't be sitting here recording myself on a YouTube vlog if I hadn't gone inward and listened to what my deepest desires are, and not just listened but acted upon them. And that acting had to come from a place of trust that this is what I'm meant to be doing, and that it will show me more, if that makes sense. Going back to the unknown explanation that I was just giving a minute ago, it kind of brings more clarity around that unknown. You know, like you start doing this and then you don't know what this can lead to. And so like there's this path that starts paving, and it can only really pave from that trust and that intention as well, to want to go inward and understand, not with a logical mind, but understand yourself as a more whole being, if that's making any sense. So yeah, like I'm finding myself wanting to sign myself up for more of this inward inquiry. And on that note, I am setting up some what I'm calling being circles, and they're basically a moment in time for you and I to be in together and spend time practicing our being. Because as I said before, it's a skill. It's not something that we have been born with, that we can naturally do. I mean, you know, we breathe, but we don't just sit and be. If it was that easy, I'm sure I'll probably be doing something else right now, and I wouldn't be offering up these being circles. So as it's not something that's natural, it's something to be practiced. And with practice, that unknown can turn into more of a knowing, from my experience. And it's not, like I said, it's not from a place of the mind knowing. It's a different kind of element, maybe an intuitive level. So if that's something that interests you, I'm going to leave a link in my video description below, and feel free to drop in to one of these being circles. There'll be more. I've only just set up one today, and there will be more. It's just a case of working out days and times that suit. So yeah, I guess because I was working on that today, I just felt this desire to want to talk about why being is so, especially right now, you know, with everything that's going on in the world, and from all my experience as well of being or feeling so uncertain about where I'm heading in life, it's one of those practices that has really helped me. It's really supported me, and I think by joining a group of people, the energy that others bring to that place can hopefully support us in our being and into whatever we're becoming. So the invitation is there, and if you would like to converse more about what I'm talking about here, feel free to drop me a message and let's chat. But for this week, I'm signing off, and I shall see you in a week's time. Thank you for joining me. Take care.